means Highway 9 moving into Stigler. You are not in the clear. If you are driving, if you are listening to us, you need to be making sure that you are getting somewhere. If it's a gas station, if you're able to get home, you want to be somewhere quick because this is still moving areas to the northeast. Stigler Airport, Garland. You are all now in these tornado warnings and you need to be taking these precautions seriously. So I'm going to zoom out just slightly. Again, show you this updated look at our tornado warning currently. And we're going to put another track on this. James, is this still moving at 25 miles per hour with this new warning? Or did they drop it and make it slightly slower?
They actually increased it a bit, but yeah, let's stick with 25.
25? Okay. So we're still going to say that this is moving. We're going to drop these really fast. We're going to say that this is moving to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. So again, that's still going to put us Stigler 1227, Stigler Airport 1233, Garland, you were at 1241. So if you were in this tornado warning right now, lowest level, most interior room that you possibly can be of your home. This tornado warning goes until 12:45 this afternoon. Again, it's for Haskell County. So if you were ahead of this circulation, we can see where the reds and the greens are meeting. This is now going to be east of Highway 2, but it is south of Highway 9, and it is going to be west of Highway 82. So if this is moving into Stigler, you want to make sure that you are getting in your safe spot now. We can take one more look at our velocity or our correlation coefficient here and see if we've had any changes with that. Still haven't seen anywhere that circulation is that would indicate we have something that's being lofted up into the atmosphere that would say we have a radar confirmed tornado. I'm going to peek over here and make sure that we haven't had any confirmation from the National Weather Service of Tulsa that says we've had anyone seeing this tornado on the ground. So still treat this very, very seriously, but this is just a tornado warning right now. This has not been confirmed by radar or again by someone seeing it. So this is our correlation coefficient. If we started to see more greens and changes in color, that would give us indications that we do have tornado on the ground lofting debris. And this is still that area of circulation that we are watching for very, very closely. Greens and reds, again, now to the east of Highway 2, still moving towards Stigler. Stigler, you have just a few more minutes now. So if you're just tuning in with us, this is a tornado warning for Haskell County. Tulsa, you are in the clear right now. You don't even have any severe thunderstorm warnings. Our main concern right now is going to be Haskell County, just where we do have this current tornado warning. This new extension goes until 12:45. So if you are ahead of even Stigler, you can see Keota, you want to start paying attention. This is going to be moving this direction, and it hasn't just stayed quite moving northeast. It's shifted just slightly as these storms have moved off towards the east. So that's why we're going to go ahead and look at this view. Zooming out here slightly again so you can kind of see this wide view showing Tulsa. You are just dealing with rain, but still quite a bit of rain. This is all the way back towards just now. Stillwater is being cleared. Creek County and Bristow, you're still seeing quite a bit of rainfall, but getting closer to you being cleared of a lot of this rain as well. So we're not done with all the rainfall just yet. We're going to continue to deal with this over the next several hours. Here's more of those heavy downpours that we're dealing with currently right now in Tulsa. And here's our tornado watch that goes until 5 p.m. So you can see where we have our tornado warnings currently fall within this tornado watch. That's going to continue for Sequoia, LaFleur counties too that are ahead of this tornado warning. Haven't quite had to deal with the storms just yet. So these areas of circulation are moving your direction. I'm going to send things back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelaw. He's been looking at things kind of off to the side here for the last few minutes. James, any new updates?
Yeah, the good news is our rotation in Pushmataha County has weakened, so that's good news for southeastern Latimer County. That tornado warning in Pushmataha County has been canceled early. We'll still watch things very closely in Latimer County, but so far I don't see any kind of significant or imminent threat in Latimer County. In Haskell County, that's another story. We've got that tornado warning that's in effect, with the main part of the circulation getting close to Stigler as it moves to the northeast. And again, the motion's been a little bit erratic, but we're looking at moving into Stigler close to 1227 to 1233, and also the Garland area if this continues. That warning has been extended until 1245 through parts of central Haskell County. Let's take another close-in view here as we look right into central Haskell County. We'll stop the animation and I'll look at velocity data. And again, where we see these brighter greens here and the brighter reds, that's the circulation. So if this storm were to put down a tornado, it would be just to the southeast of Whitefield. Again, this is edging closer to Stigler. We can give the all clear to everybody to the west of Highway 2. Want to remind you the current time that we are generating this broadcast is up just under the Fox 23 logo, so keep in mind if you're watching us on streaming service, we may be delayed on average about 30 to 45 seconds, and that's why the tracks we give show a time of arrival, not a delay until arrival. So let's take this to the northeast, 25 miles per hour. Again, we're looking at Stigler. If this thing can hold together and continue to threaten production of a tornado, Stigler Airport just after 12:30, Garland in northern Haskell County by about 12:40, and if this continues, we're going to have to be looking closely at Robert S. Kerr Lake and the dam at Kerr Lake and all the way up towards Salisaw too for a potential threat. Let me clear that track off. We'll look at correlation coefficient, and again we look right where that circulation is, just to the southwest of Stigler, and I don't see any dropouts here, so that's a really good sign. That means we're not seeing any kind of debris being lofted up into the radar signal by the tornado. We're watching this closely. Here are the updated watch and warning maps. As Michaela said, there's a whole cluster of flash flood warnings in central Oklahoma. You get into the pink counties, those are tornado watches where conditions are favorable for rotation and potential tornadoes. Then we get into these shapes. These are the actual warnings. The yellow, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. We have one tornado warning in our area, and that's kind of locked in right on Stigler. And that tornado warning is in effect until 12:45 as that rotating part of the thunderstorm moves up toward the community of Stigler. Let's go back to reflectivity. And again, it doesn't look terribly impressive looking at reflectivity, but that rotation continues in parts of Haskell County. Let's look at it with velocity data again, and that's been our best depiction of exactly where this is. So here's Stigler. We've already had one band of downpours roll through the city. The rotation is just to the southwest of Stigler right now. And again, don't want to get too granular as far as like exact miles, because we're far enough from the radar site just south of Fort Smith where there could be a little bit of tilting with this threat area, so we will kind of broad brush the threat area here just in case this rotation is not straight up and down. Sometimes they lean just a little bit, but you can see this is just to the southwest of Stigler. I need you in Stigler to take your tornado precautions. As we run through these one more time, we're talking get in a safe room or basement if you have that. Otherwise, lowest level, center part, smallest room. If you're in a mobile home in the Stigler area, you've got time, especially to the east of Highway 82, to find sturdy shelter and do it quickly. In schools or offices, just follow that tornado plan, go to that designated shelter area, and if you're a kid home alone, again, get to the lowest level, center part, smallest room. One band of heavy rain and thunderstorms have already moved through the Stigler area now, but the main rotation continues to sit just to the west of Stigler, kind of right on Highway 9 and east of Whitefield. Again, we can give the all clear in Whitefield now. We're really focused from Stigler back to the west about 5 miles as that rotation continues strong. If anything, it might be just a tiny little bit less organized than it was. No sign as we look at correlation coefficient that we have any debris being lofted up into the radar, so we don't have radar confirmation that we have a tornado down with it, but this is a serious circulation right along Highway 9 and just to the west of Stigler. Pretty soon we'll be able to give the all clear south of Highway 9, but we're not there yet with that circulation really close to Highway 9 and really close to Stigler too. As we expand the view, you can see that's the only tornado warning that we have in our coverage area in Haskell County and in Stigler right now too. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings for this line of thunderstorms as well. As we look up further north, the threat here is just continued rain. I'm not seeing at all any indication that we have severe weather in the metro area, but southeast of us, watching that line of severe thunderstorms and the tornado warning in Haskell County too. Let's check in with meteorologist Michaela Smith.
Yeah, we're still watching that area again that James has been pointing out. We have a line of storms that's causing one tornado warning. We had another tornado warning. This is the severe thunderstorm warning that extends outside of this tornado warning. So even if you do not find yourself in that current tornado warning near Stigler right now. You still want to be paying attention. You still want to go ahead and take those precautions, getting away from those outside walls or windows, just because we do have some strong storms that are moving your direction. And these storms have, again, multiple times now started to spin a little bit and have given us more tornado warnings. So we're going to zoom into Haskell County right now, closer to Stigler, where we still do have that tornado warning until 12:45 this afternoon. The rotation, just like James has showed you, has kind of started to weaken a little bit more. And even we've talked with some of the National Weather Service Tulsa meteorologists. They're seeing similar things to what we are. So we'll jump right in and look at this velocity right here. And you can see basically right now, just to the west, if not right over Stigler, is where we're seeing this rotation. It is not going to be as tight as it was earlier, so it's a little bit more widespread. Where we're seeing the reds and the greens, again, closer together. So this is just to the west of Stigler. This is going to be southwest of Stigler's airport. That's that area of rotation that we are watching currently. So almost now to the north of Highway 9, which would again give Highway 9 the all clear. We have seen they've started to kind of cut back some of this warning. So Whitefield, you were also now in the all clear from this tornado warning. You were originally in this, but again, Stigler, you are still needing to make sure that you are sheltering in place right now, whether that is at home, getting to the lowest level, most interior room that you possibly can be, away from those outside walls or windows. If you're at the office, if you're at the grocery store, wherever you are, if you're streaming with us, remember that we are going to be slightly delayed. So whatever time that you see, make sure that you're keeping up with what time that it currently is and getting to that safe place that you need to be. Stigler Airport, you were also still in this tornado warning. So we're going to start to zoom out here slightly. Again, ahead of this tornado warning, we have places like Garland. If we go ahead and put a track, we're still saying that this is moving to the northeast at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. I'm going to go ahead and do a new one really fast. This is the area of circulation. Again, right here, basically right in Stigler at this point in time. This is the area that we are watching for. So moving to the northeast, about 25 miles per hour. And we're going to see Stigler basically right now that this is impacting your area. Stigler Airport, 12:32 p.m. So if this holds together, if this circulation starts to tighten back up, you still want to take these tornado precautions very seriously. Now, we have not had any indications either from anyone who is in Stigler in that area who has been able to confirm that there is a tornado on the ground, or from the National Weather Service that we've had debris being lofted up, because we've looked at our correlation coefficient. We'll take another look here too as well to see if we're seeing any debris. If we were, we'd start to see more colors like greens and blues and yellows reflected back at us. So we're not seeing that currently at this time, which means at this point it does not look like there is a tornado on the ground doing damage. That does not mean, however, you are not going to continue to take your tornado precautions very, very seriously. So here is a look at the velocity right now. Highway 9 right around your area, basically starting to move to the north though, so soon we will be able to clear Highway 9, and this is going to continue to move towards the northeast. So once again, let's put a track on this circulation right now just to the west of Stigler as this moves to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. Stigler Airport 12:33, Garland 12:40. If you are ahead of this storm, it could again spin up at any point in time, start to kind of tighten back up. You want to take this tornado precaution very seriously. Now I'm going to zoom in slightly here, show you what's to come, and then I want to give you a wider view too of what's ahead of this storm. Now this is going to be areas like Salisaw. You are not even in the severe thunderstorm warning currently, but as this line of storms continues to move your direction, because these storms are going to continue to move towards the east, you want to go ahead and start getting prepared. If this were to stay together, this is going to end up moving to the northeast to start to move into parts of Sequoyah County. So Salisaw, that would be moving your direction, and then eventually this would start to cross into Arkansas a little bit later on, closer to Highway 42. This is going to be, again, moving kind of back this direction. So this is giving you just a heads up. Again, you're not even in the severe thunderstorm warning currently, not in the tornado warning, but this is showing you downstream. If this tornado warning stays together, you may need to be prepared to go ahead and get into that safe place, whether that's at kids at school, you're at home, you're at the office. You want to be able to take those tornado precautions very seriously. Here's our tornado warning right now. Again, if you're just joining us, it is for Haskell County. We have this until 12:45. This does not include the Tulsa Metro. In fact, we can take a wider view right now and you can see nothing is happening here in the Tulsa Metro besides rain. We do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings. We do not have any tornado warnings. All we're dealing with still currently is just a lot of rainfall. We still do have ponding in roadways, some flooded spots. So just a reminder, if you do see water covering a roadway, turn around, find a different route. It's never worth your life. But tornadoes right now are going to be, the tornado warnings are southeast of Tulsa, and all the severe storms are going to be southeast of Tulsa. So closer look at the metro, just dealing with that rainfall again. Some heavier spots towards the east, parts of Catoosa, Broken Arrow, but we are not dealing with the tornadoes. Tornado watch goes until 5 p.m. So you can see areas that this is the kind of line is starting to push through. Even areas like Pittsburgh County may start to get dropped off a little bit sooner, but areas ahead of these storms right now, we're in Haskell County, Latimer County. There's been a few tornado warnings south of you. Sequoia and LaFleur, you have not seen these line of storms just yet. So we'll continue to have this tornado watch until 5 o'clock unless these storms move through a little bit sooner. And that's the area again that we're going to continue to watch, is where we do have our current tornado warning right now. So going back to see that area of rotation, very, very broad at this point. It doesn't look like it's tightened up at all. I'm gonna get a closer look here right now and see, but it is not looking as impressive as it was earlier. Don't even have a crazy defined spot where we have kind of our reds and our greens touching. So that's going to be to the north of Stigler, still Stigler Airport. You were in this tornado warning again for Haskell County right now. It goes until 12:45. So that puts us within the next still 15 minutes or so that we're watching this, but the circulation is not looking as impressive as it was when we first came on air for this tornado warning. We'll jump back over and look at reflectivity. You can also see what James was mentioning earlier. Where this rotation is embedded in a lot of rain, so you would not have a very clear picture of this tornado if there was one on the ground right now, just because, again, it would be a rain-wrapped tornado because it's so far back in the circulation. So that also causes a few problems for people to be able to visualize this and see it. Jumping over to correlation coefficient, not seeing a spot that would indicate that it lines up perfectly with our velocity. That would make us think that we do have a tornado on the ground lofting debris. I'm going to check back over and still not seeing anything confirmed from the National Weather Service of Tulsa right now. So nothing really on our correlation coefficient again that makes us think that it is aligned perfectly with the circulation. But this is still the area right now where the reds and greens are touching near Stigler right now. And that means still if you're in Stigler Airport, Garland, you are getting ready. You are getting in the tornado safe place right now. Lowest level, most interior room that you possibly can be, away from those outside walls or windows, just because that tornado warning is still in effect until 12:45 p.m. Now I'm going to send things back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adela. He's been looking at a few things off to the side. James, do you have any new updates for us?
And right now, is just to confirm what you said, that circulation is a little weaker right now, still in the Stigler area. As we look, important to stress for the rest of eastern Oklahoma, no tornado threat immediately or imminent. We have one tornado warning, that's in Haskell County. Tulsa, we still continue to see rain, but our tornado warned storm right in Haskell County and right in the Stigler area right now. But again, that circulation, as Michaela said, showing you into some of that Doppler radar data, velocities that we're seeing right here, is significantly weaker and less organized than it was just a few minutes ago. So again, we still have that rotation in the Stigler area, maybe centered just to the northwest of Stigler now. And as that continues moving to the northeast, that's going to put that threat area soon north of Highway 9. We'll be able to give you the all clear, including in Stigler, probably over the next 5 minutes. Maybe sooner if the rotation continues to be a little bit weaker, but that's going to eventually move all the way up into northern parts of Haskell County and past the Stigler Airport too, as it moves up toward Kerr Lake and eventually into southern parts of Sequoia County. As Michaela said, we look at correlation coefficient to see if there's any evidence that we have any debris being lofted up by an actual tornado up into the radar signal, and I'm not seeing that here at all. No indication of that either. As we take a little closer look right north of Highway 9 and north of Stigler, there's the airport, 1170 Road up toward Garland, and the threat area is right in this location, just to the southwest of the Stigler Airport. You can kind of pick out the greens That's coming back from left to right, the reds from right to left, which puts the circulating part of this thunderstorm, the part that could produce a tornado, just to the north of Stigler. Again, I don't want to give the all clear yet in Stigler. We're still far enough away from the radar. There could be a little bit of tilt in that tornado signature between what the radar is seeing and what we're seeing closer to the ground. So stay in your tornado safe place in Stigler, and a quick reminder of those. That means get to the lowest level, center part, smallest room of your home or apartment if you don't have a safe room or a basement. If you're in a car, mobile home, or outdoors, find sturdy shelter. School and office, you just need to follow that designated tornado plan. Again, no severe weather threat in Tulsa right now, but again, as we look right into parts of northern Haskell County, we continue to see that circulation very close to Stigler. I'm going to zoom back in. We'll take a look at velocity. Again, a little bit more of a wider view. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for a storm behind that one. You just saw that yellow line. We'll take a look at that in just a bit. But the circulation now passing just to the north of Stigler. So now I think we can give you the all clear in Haskell County south of Highway 9, including Stigler south of Highway 9, with that main rotation just to the north of Stigler right now and continuing to move up into the vicinity of the Stigler Airport. Let me give you an update on that severe thunderstorm that has prompted the new warning in parts of, they reconfigured that warning. It's the back edge of that severe thunderstorm warning. But here is that line of severe thunderstorms. Let me set the shot up a little bit here. We'll do a track on the leading edge because that's going to be the most likely spot where we see not only gusty wind, but the potential for any kind of spin-ups. Now, so far, the only area that we've been really focused on has been with this Haskell County circulation. But I'm looking at the leading edge of this thunderstorm line getting close to McCurtain by 1234, Red Hill 1241, Weber's Falls Dam 1242. You can see Keota, Gore, Milton, Sadie, Cartersville, all the way up toward Vian in western Sequoyah County through about 101. So I'll drop that. We'll take another look right into our circulation in central parts of Haskell County. We'll go to velocity. I'll update the tornado warn track here too. This is going to be very close to the Stigler Airport as it moves to the northeast. Again, we're going to run this at about 20 miles per hour right over the Stigler Airport over the next few minutes, and then Garland, if this holds together toward Tamaha, and that's right on Kerr Lake and the Arkansas River in extreme southern parts of Sequoyah and extreme northern parts of Haskell County. But so far, we're happy to say we have not seen any evidence that we have debris being lofted up into the radar signal, so very low hanging clouds indeed with this circulation, but right now it has weakened just a little bit, very close to the Stigler Airport. Again, everybody south of Highway 9, we can give you the all clear as this tornado warning continues in Haskell County until 12:45. Let's check in with meteorologist Michaela Smith.
As James was saying, we have a line of storms that we're watching closely, and in that line of storms, we've had these rotations, these kind of spin-ups, and that's what's caused us to have our tornado warning right now for Haskell County, again, until 12:45, so about 9 more minutes unless we get rid of this a little bit early. Still looking at National Weather Service and haven't had any issues so far that we've seen, but continuing, again, to see a very strong storm ahead. That's going to be moving off towards the east. So let's take a close look now with this tornado warning. This is going to be past Stigler now. It looks like a lot of this rotation and going to be to the north now of Highway 9. Switching over to our velocity here, and you can see it's looking like we might be trying to start to kind of tighten up a little bit on this radar, which again is why we've kept this tornado warning the whole time, even when things didn't look as strong. So we're starting to see more areas now just to the west of Stigler's Airport where these reds and greens are starting to touch a little bit closer. So that's the area. It would be north of Stigler now, again, north of Highway 9. So that would put Highway 9 right now. You were in the clear. But if you're at Stigler Airport, you would still need to be sheltering currently. So this is the area right now where we're seeing, again, those reds and greens being a little bit closer together. That would give us some indication that there is the potential for this storm to kind of circle up and tighten a little bit more. That could potentially have a tornado make its way to the ground. Still not seeing anything off of our correlation coefficient here. Again, if we did have debris that was being lofted back into the atmosphere from a tornado touching down, we start to see more of these reds and greens and yellows, blue color kind of all coming together. Not seeing that currently where that area of circulation again would be, but that doesn't mean we're not going to continue to watch this very, very closely. So here's another look at the velocity right now. You can see kind of stronger velocity even to the north of Garland, but where this is circling back, touching closer to the Stigler Airport, that's the area of concern that we're watching right now. So again, that puts it out of Stigler now. Stigler is still currently in this tornado warning, so you're going to give yourself just about 5 minutes more. Likely that we start to trim back and see this tornado warning moving outside of Stigler itself. However, Stigler Airport, that does still put you very close to where we're seeing this rotation. And I want to show you ahead of this rotation too. I think we're still moving at around 25 to 30 miles per hour with this moving to the northeast. 20 miles per hour. Okay, so we're going to continue to drag this to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. That's going to give you Stigler Airport 1240 right now, so the next 2 minutes. Again, this is what we're telling you right now. If you were streaming with us, if you were watching maybe on a computer somewhere and the timing is a little bit different, this is as we are currently seeing it. So you need to make sure that you are quickly getting into that safe place. If you are at an office, follow whatever office procedures. If you were at school, make sure that you are getting those kids into a safe place. And this is going to continue to move areas to the northeast. So Garland, we're talking about 12:49 p.m. Now this tornado warning goes until 12:45 p.m. So if we continue to see these areas kind of tighten back up with this circulation, it's likely the National Weather Service of Tulsa then will continue to extend this as it's moving to the northeast. So Tamaha, eventually you're going to see this as well. That's close to the lake, and that's going to continue again to move into parts of eventually out of Haskell County and to move into parts of Sequoyah County too. So there is the area of circulation right now, basically right on top of Stigler's Airport. Correlation coefficient still going to check in here, not seeing any indications from our Doppler that we've had debris being lofted back up into the atmosphere. That does not mean, again, that you should not be taking this seriously, though. If you are in this tornado warning right now, if you got that alert on your phone, if you are hearing those tornado sirens sound, you need to be getting into that safe spot at your house, at your apartment. If you were going to be out driving, make sure you're getting into a sturdy shelter very, very quickly, because we still do have this tornado warning until 12:45. So that's about 5 more minutes. And again, I want to show you ahead what's to come. So Garland still 12:40. It's looking at that time. Red Hill, you're 12:55. So if this stays together, it's going to eventually move further into Haskell County and then into parts of Sequoyah County too. Sequoyah County does not have the tornado warning currently, but again, if this area of rotation continues to move off towards the east, it could still move into an environment that is favorable. We do have a tornado watch for Sequoyah County right now that is until 5 p.m. So this is that line of storms that we're keeping a very, very close eye on. Here's a more wide view of what we're dealing with right now. Again, we have these severe thunderstorm warnings to the south and east of Tulsa. Inside of these severe thunderstorm warnings, in that line where we've had these spin-ups, where we've had these circulations, that's where our current tornado warning is. Back near Tulsa, we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings. We do not have any tornado warnings. We are just dealing with rainfall. So if you were in Tulsa right now, you were in the all clear for the severe weather. You just need to be very cautious for the potential for flooding, just because we've seen a lot of that in areas already up towards Owasso. We've had reports near Skytook as well. So if you see water covering the roadway, remember, please find a different route. Here's a closer look right now to Tulsa. We have another kind of heavier band of rain moving through right over downtown right now, just moved through parts of Sand Springs, and that's going to continue to move off towards the east. So Catoosa, Broken Arrow, you're about to see more heavy rain as well. Now I'm going to send things back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot as we get a little bit closer to this tornado warning possibly ending, seeing if you have any new updates.
Yeah, the National Weather Service at this point planning to extend the tornado warning through the rest of northeastern Haskell County and likely getting into Sequoyah County. That's out of our coverage area. Once it moves into and past Salisaw, still have a few folks on cable in Salisaw that can watch us, so we'll continue to watch that all the way through Salisaw. And that icon popping up means we have the updated tornado warning. And there it is for northern parts of Haskell County and western Sequoia County. It does include Vian and points toward the east, all the way on I-40 toward the high school, toward Salisaw, Blue Ribbon Downs, and Dwight Mission Road there too. So that's going to be the tornado warning in Sequoia County. Remember, it's very hilly here, so it's going to be really tough to see actual funnels or tornadoes with this. The circulation is weaker than it was 10 to 15 minutes ago, but it is still strong enough to continue with that threat for a spin-up tornado as this approaches Tamaha in northern parts of Haskell County. Let me zoom all the way in. We'll give you some geography waypoints here. Again, all clear in Stigler and from Highway 9 south. So that's going to include Keota too. That rotation, again, not as strong and certainly not as tight as it was just a few minutes ago. But again, we're not going to let our guard down from this, because once it does spin up as strong as it did, oftentimes it can spin up again just nearly as quickly. I'm going to take a look at base velocity again. Sometimes that gives us a little bit different view. I want to pay close attention south of Keota along Highway 26. It looks like here there's just a small little bit of rotation that might be trying to form as we look at reflectivity. Again, we're trying to see parts of these thunderstorms that are oriented northwest to southeast. This one's not really as much, so I'm not immediately as concerned about that. But you can see this part of the segment here, northeast of Stigler, close to the airport, that one is oriented northwest to southeast. That allows it to tap into a lot of the wind shear generated in the atmosphere very efficiently, and that's why we've seen that rotation continue to develop too. As we look right into velocity again, rotation is still here northeast of Stigler, not seeing any evidence that we have debris being lofted up into the radar signal. We're getting close enough to the radar right now. That gives us even more confidence that we haven't had any kind of significant storm reach the ground from this, but the rotation is just to the northeast of Stigler right now. Let me frame this up again, and we'll give you an updated track as this moves to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. I just extrapolated that motion just a few minutes ago to recompute that. So this is going to be very close to Tamaha here in about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit sooner if it speeds up. Remember, we've seen some erratic motion in these too. So if they speed up, which is entirely possible, we could see that moving toward Tamaha just a little bit sooner. A little bit further to the north, the circulation is going to be crossing I-40 between Vian and Salisaw. Here's the Harrison community, McKee, Dwight Mission Road, up toward McKee. There's Vian and Salisaw here with the high school just to the west of Salisaw, and of course the Walmart here at Highway 59 and just to the north of I-40. So anywhere from that all the way back west toward Vian. Going to be watching this very closely. Now, as far as mile markers go, that means we're crossing Interstate 40 between mile marker 297, that's the Vian exit, and mile marker 308, which is the Highway 59 exit right here. You go down around that corner toward White Horse Barbecue, south of Salisaw, but south of Salisaw, once you hit the airport and south on Highway 59, not in the tornado warning box. So again, anywhere from Salisaw to Vian, don't need to be crossing Interstate 40 over the next 45 minutes. Now this system has slowed down just a tiny bit as it's moved from south, well, basically northeastern Pittsburgh County to the northeast into parts of Haskell County. We go back to velocity, and again, the rotation is a little bit weaker, but still kind of centered right over northern parts of Haskell County. I'm not seeing any evidence that we have debris being lofted up into this, but we're very close to Garland, which is, you can see Tamaha Road here, making that corner at Garland, and that's right up toward Tamaha, very close to Red Hill too. So we'll watch this closely as it moves to the northeast. Again, another check of velocity, and the main rotation does appear to be very close to Garland right now. You can see the brighter reds and a little bit of greens coming back toward the radar, but it's not super strong in there. As we look at base velocity, again, close to the Garland area is where I'd put this, which means Stigler and south, you are out of the threat. In fact, the National Weather Service has trimmed the newest tornado warning, so Stigler not included in that. Let's check in with meteorologist Michaela Smith as we continue to watch this tornado warned storm. And this is the only tornado warning that we have, and there's no severe weather threat at all in the Tulsa Metro.
Yeah, we're not dealing with any tornado warnings right now in the Tulsa Metro. I just want to show you a small area right now that we're just starting to see a little bit of this kind of leaning back, this red and green that's going to be south of Keota now. So that's away from an area we just had that tornado warning. So we're still watching again very closely for that main area of circulation. But as these storms continue to move off towards the east, they are still moving into an environment that they are favorable for these potential spin ups. And so we want to watch kind of along that line as this continues to move towards the east. So we can see more of a wide view right now. These are the severe thunderstorm warnings that extend along this line of storms that continues to move eastward. And then as the storm system again has moved off towards parts of now closer to Sequoyah County and LaFleur counties, we've seen some of these spin ups. So here is our current tornado warning right now. It goes until 1:30 this afternoon, and we can see this is going to be past Stigler now. So if you were in Stigler, you are no longer having to deal with this. But you can see this is kind of the area right now where we're seeing more of that rotation, moving more up towards the northeast. So this has even changed slightly. This is more north oriented now. Vian, you are going to be in this new tornado warning. Salisaw as well. That's going to put Interstate 40 between Vian and Salisaw also in this new tornado warning. So if you are listening to us, you need to make sure that you are getting out of your car, you are finding a safe place to be, whether that's going to be finding a sturdy shelter, if that's going to be a gas station. If you were at school, make sure you were doing those protocols that you need to do to make sure those students are safely where they need to be. If you were at home, getting to the lowest level, most interior room that you possibly can be, away from outside walls or windows. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to our velocity right now just to check and see. It looks like this area right here is slightly more kind of tightening up from areas where we were looking earlier. So that means we're starting to see things getting just a little bit more organized. We're taking a closer look here to see again where these reds and this green start mixing. That's going to put us now to North Tamaha Road, just to the east of you now. So this is getting closer to moving into Tamaha right now. You need to make sure that you are in your safe place again, away from outside walls or windows, most interior room that you possibly can be. This is that area of concern for that circulation, just because that's where the reds and the greens are starting to touch. That always indicates to us that that's where our rotation is. So that is moving this direction. That means Garland, this rotation is now to the north of you. You are still currently in this tornado warning, so stay sheltered for just a little bit longer, but that rotation is now to your north and is moving away from you. I do want to go check in with our correlation coefficient just to make sure we haven't had any indications. I'm not seeing anything that would tell us that we have had debris being lofted right over where these circulations are. There is a little bit more activity now happening here with our correlation coefficient. James, you're not seeing anything that still indicates, he's shaking his head no. So still not seeing anything right now that would say that this tornado has touched down, that it's lofting debris back up into the radar or up into the atmosphere that we would be able to see on the radar. But we're going to continue to watch this closely. So this is not a confirmed tornado at this time. We have not had any person in Vian, Tamaha, Garland that has said, I've seen this tornado on the ground. We have not had any confirmation from our radar. However, besides all of that, you still need to be taking this seriously. Again, following all of those tornado precautions. If you are in this tornado warning right now, getting away from those outside walls and windows, most interior room that you can be. So Tamaha, this is moving your direction. This is that area of circulation again that we are concerned with right now, basically just east now of North Tamaha Road, and that's going to continue to move up towards the northeast. So we're going to zoom out just slightly from the circulation so we can put a track on this storm. See, it's still currently moving at about 20 miles per hour, James. Yep. So we'll get to about 20 miles per hour, and that's going to put, again, Tomahawk right around 1. Between Vian, you're still in this broader spectrum of this rotation, but this is going to put it closer to you, I would say, by about 115, 120. So you need to be making sure that you are in, again, that safe place for you. And taking a wider look, again, you can see Vian, this is right around 109. So this is that view, that circulation that we're watching closely as this continues to move areas to the northeast. And that does include, again, this tornado warning, Interstate I-40, as you're moving into parts of Sequoyah County between Vian and Salisaw. That's the area that we're watching very closely. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning, I believe, so going to go back and check so we can see our new severe thunderstorm warning is going to go more to the north of this line of storms. That's going to include now parts of Muskogee and Cherokee, Sequoyah, and Wagner County until 1:30. So watching this area, again, this line of storms, not seeing too many spins so far, I think, in that segment of the line. So our main concern, again, is still going to be this tornado warning. So jumping back again to this area of rotation right now, we have one tornado warning currently for our viewing area. That is this Haskell County tornado warning that goes until 1:30, Haskell and Sequoyah County. So Sequoyah, you are moving almost to seeing this rotation now, clearing Haskell County. It's more to the northern part of our viewing area, or out of our area. Vian and Salisaw, again, this is going to be between you. Salisaw, you are technically not in this tornado warning. It's just going to be off towards your west. Vian, you are in this tornado warning, so you want to make sure that you are taking those precautions. Taking more of a wide view right now, so you can just see, reset everything. Here in Tulsa County, if you are listening to us, we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings. We do not have any tornado warnings. We are just dealing with rain. All of this activity has been to the southeast. You can see from Muskogee back through Salisaw towards even part of the Red River into parts of Texas. That's where this line of storms has been. We do not have anything currently that indicates that we're seeing that severe weather uptick for Tulsa. So far things are looking good in Tulsa County. I'll take a closer look right now just so you can see. We're still seeing some of that rainfall, however, off back towards the west, parts of Westport, Manford, starting to see some of that clearing. So areas that have been really needing to see that rain start to slow down. The good news is we're getting a little bit closer to that happening. Here is our tornado watch right now. You can see we have started to trim back some of our counties. So Pittsburgh County has now been dropped from this, and we can see McIntosh County has been dropped as well. Muskogee, Sequoyah, Haskell, Latimer, and LaFleur still all in this tornado watch until 5 p.m. So as this line of storms continues to move eastward, once they're clear through the area, it's likely we keep dropping some of these counties from this tornado watch. But until we get to that point, we will continue to follow these storms as they move off towards the east. So we'll take another look back at this tornado warning again. Right now, this is where this rotation is currently, and it's moving up towards the northeast between Vian and Salisaw, but along Interstate I-40, you really need to be paying attention. Again, this is that circulation right here. And we'll take one more quick check here with our correlation coefficient. Not seeing if that's right where that circulation would be, James. Is that circulation closer to where that correlation coefficient is starting to show back up a little bit more here? Okay, not co-located enough just yet to say that that is tornado currently on the ground. So even though we had these tornado warnings, you can see it is a tornado that would be wrapped in rain because this is going to be back behind that main line of storms. There is a lot of rain that we're dealing with as this is falling. So make sure again that you are not just waiting to try to see this tornado. You may not see this tornado if it does touch down. It's going to be wrapped in rain. That's why you just want to be taking these tornado precautions regardless. I'm going to send things back over to James now as he's been watching this over the last few minutes. James, do you have any updates as the storm continues to move to the east?
Yeah, it looks like this has increased just a little bit in that circulation strength. We look in the metro area right now, Tulsa, Broken Arrow, Owasso, no severe weather threat at all. But we look into southeast Oklahoma right now and big clusters of severe thunderstorms with one tornado warning. Let's take a look at into our severe thunderstorm warnings because we do have a strong thunderstorm severe, in fact, just to the southeast of Muskogee. I want to take a look at it because, again, with this setup, we're still watching for any kind of circulation to set up here too. Maybe just to the south of Braggs, there's some very weak circulation, but that's a long way away from being too concerning. We'll keep a close eye on it. We get into our storm that is very close to Tomahawk right now and crossing over The Arkansas River, that's kind of the headwaters of Robert S. Kerr Lake, this far to the west of the dam. This is going to be angling up kind of on the west side of this tornado warning polygon. We'll take this to the north, just at about north-northeast at about 20 miles per hour. And this is going to be very close to Vian as it moves to the north-northeast, so close to about 115. Now on I-40, we're looking at mile marker 297, that is the Vian exit. So you know anybody on I-40 between Salisaw and Vian, they need to get on off of I-40, and nobody needs to get on I-40 going west at Highway 59 at Salisaw. That is mile marker 308. Once you get past Dwight Mission Road, up toward McKee and all the way over toward Vian, mile marker 297, that's the spot, the danger area where the circulation will likely cross Interstate 40, and we're looking at 1:15, so about 15 more minutes, plenty of time for people to be off the interstate and no additional people to be on the interstate. We come up to correlation coefficient. Again, we'll take a really tight view of this. We're seeing a couple of dropouts there. That might be a little bit of hail starting to mix in from time to time. Circulation is here just to the northwest of Tamaha right now. Again, about to move out of Haskell County into western Sequoia County. But again, Tamaha area and along Tamaha Road should stay in your tornado safe place. I want to give you those tornado tips one more time. Again, if you don't have a safe room or basement, get to the lowest level, center part, smallest room. Cars, mobile homes, outdoors. Find sturdy shelter. As that moves up over I-40, that will become critical too. Schools, offices, including Vian, and all the way over to Salisaw. Salisaw has been trimmed out now of that tornado warning box, so that's great news. But schools, especially in Vian, follow that designated tornado safety plan. We come back to velocity, picking up some brighter greens here too. So this circulation's a little stronger, passing just to the northwest of Tamaha. Let me go to correlation coefficient. Again, we're looking right in here, not this, but right in here for any kind of lofted debris, and we're not seeing this, but this circulation has gotten stronger just up to the northwest of Tamaha. This is just about to move out of Haskell County and into Sequoia County, so soon we'll be able to give you the all clear for all of Haskell County. Give us about 4, maybe 5 minutes. We'll be able to give you the all clear there. Let's go further to the south, though. Along this line of strong to severe storms, we have the one tornado warning. This is very close to Tamaha. Let's go zoom into the Keota area in southeastern parts, or far eastern parts of Haskell County. We have a little bit of a very weak and disorganized circulation here. That's close to Highway 9 and just to the northeast of Keota. We're picking up some bright reds here. That's feeding into the storm. Some of those greens back away from the storm. We'll take a look at base velocity again. And the greens kind of tell me that we've got some strong outflow in that thunderstorm that's going to be sweeping east along Highway 9, but oftentimes that's enough to tighten up a little bit of a circulation here. So far, that has not happened. Let's go back to reflectivity, and I'm going to expand the view and show you the new severe thunderstorm warnings, because anywhere in the severe thunderstorm warning, especially on the leading edge of these storms, where we have any segment that's leaned back from northwest to southeast, that's able to tap into the atmospheric parameters and wind shear very well. It's almost an ideal setup to cause thunderstorms to rotate. So indeed, that's what we've seen with this part of the thunderstorm. You can kind of pick that orientation out from northwest to southeast. Again, no severe weather threat at all in the metro area, but we do continue to see that rain come down. As we look at velocity again, right on the Arkansas River, this is the headwaters of Robert S. Kerr Lake in extreme northern Haskell County and extreme southern Sequoia County. So this is crossing over the Arkansas River and moving up toward the community of Vian. And again, going to be very close to I-40 and the Vian area. So nobody needs to be on Interstate 40 at this point between Vian and Dwight Mission Road, which is west of Salisaw. Bright reds, bright greens. If we have a tornado down, it's going to be crossing the Arkansas River right now. headwaters of Robert S. Kerr Lake, just to the northwest of Tamaha. So we can give you the all clear in Tamaha as this moves up into parts of western Sequoia County. Let's check correlation coefficient. Again, we're in the river bottoms here, so there's not a lot of debris to loft up into the radar signal right now. We're not seeing that take place. What we're seeing, some dropouts over here, is probably getting into some hail, and that will affect the part of the thunderstorm. But the rotation now has moved up across the Arkansas River and the headwaters of Robert S. Kerr Lake and into extreme western parts of Sequoia County. So we're looking just to the northwest of Tamaha right now. Let's expand the view and show you a little better idea of what's upstream, and we can check on our other circulations that we've watched that have thankfully stayed much weaker. That is going to be moving up closer to Vian over the next 10 to 15 minutes. Let me give you an updated track on this. We'll take this right from the Arkansas River to the northeast. Again, looking at Vian between about 110 and 120 in Vian. You need to take your tornado precautions right now. Let's go over some of those safety tips for you. If you're in a home, you need to get to the lowest level, center part, smallest room. If you don't already have a basement or safe room, cars, mobile homes, find a sturdy shelter. Vian schools need to be following their tornado plan right now. That means going to the designated shelter area for Vian schools. As we see that circulation now is in Sequoia County, we're going to stay with this just a little bit longer as it moves out of Haskell County into Sequoia County. West of Salisaw and Sequoia County, we can be seen on cable all the way east to Salisaw too. So the rotation's definitely stronger right now. One more look at correlation coefficient, then we'll check in with meteorologist Michaela Smith. Again, not seeing right where that rotation is, and it has to be right where the rotation is, any evidence that we have debris being lofted up into the radar signal now. But the threat area now in Sequoia County, we can give you the all clear in Haskell County, but we are keeping an eye on that very weak circulation point that's just to the northeast of Keota. So far, that has not developed into anything too strong or concerning right now, but let's check in with Fox 23 meteorologist Michaela Smith.
Yeah, looking at that area circulation right now, the National Weather Service of Tulsa has started to see that it is increased slightly, so there is not a tornado warning on it currently. However, this is going to be back now to the north of Highway 9. North of Keota, but Star, this is going to be moving your direction. So again, this is not a tornado warning at this time. However, if it were to become a tornado warning at this point, you want to go ahead and start to be prepared to be in your shelter in Star, up through Brent as well. This would bring us back into Haskell County and then eventually moving back into parts of Sequoia County. So watching this area of circulation, we have now had a tornado warning for this new area of circulation. So that's going to be Haskell, LaFleur, and Sequoia County until 1:45. So this is that area again that we were just showing you, so we're able to kind of give you that heads up, that warning before that was issued. So we'll go ahead and clear this alert really quickly. So this is this new area that we're watching again north of Keota. Keota, you are not in this current tornado warning, but it's just going to be just to the north of you. So Star, this rotation is just now to your south, moving that direction, and we've started to see this even tighten up a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to our correlation coefficient. Not seeing anything currently that would indicate that this tornado is on the ground doing damage. However, if you are ahead of this Star, Brent, I want you to go ahead and start getting into your tornado shelters, away from those outside walls and windows, starting to take those tornado precautions safely. If you were in your office, start to move to the inside walls. If you were at school, they need to make sure those kids are starting to get into those safe places. Velocity, again, we can see right here, we're starting to see more of this tightening with this red and this green. So this is to the north of Keota, north of Highway 9. Highway 9, you were in the clear from this tornado warning, but this does bring us back into Haskell County. So we have Haskell County, LaFleur, and Sequoia County now for this new tornado warning that we're seeing just here currently. I'm going to zoom out just slightly so you can see what's ahead of this circulation. So again, we can see areas that are going to be moving this direction. Okay, so Star, this is quote towards you. Salisaw, this does put you in this tornado warning. So our original tornado warning, you can see these two circulations are side by side. This is the one that's moving between Vian and Salisaw right now. So along Interstate I-40, this is where you need to be making sure you're taking your safe spots. You're getting away again from those outside walls, windows, that you are not traveling along the interstate right now. That's that first area, again, of circulation that we've already been watching. This one has moved out of Haskell County and has moved into Sequoyah County. However, this new circulation, again, Sequoyah County, we're talking about Sequoyah County, Haskell County, and parts of LaFleur County. So this is moving more towards the northeast. I'm going to put a track on this one. James, is this one also moving at about 25 to 30 miles per hour? 25. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put a track on this one, moving to the north, 25 miles per hour. Star, that puts it at 1:06 p.m. for you. Brent, 1:20. Gans, 1:32. This will also eventually be crossing Interstate I-40. This is going to be now towards the east of Salisaw, closer to Fort Smith. So if you're basically between Vian and Fort Smith now, you have two different tornado warnings. You do not want to be traveling along the interstate right now. We have also seen, again, this is our second circulation that we've been watching. So this is the first one. This is our newer one that includes Haskell, Sequoyah, and parts of LaFleur County, but the circulation is currently in Haskell County. It's going to be north again of Highway 9, close to Star. And we'll do one more check here with our correlation coefficient. Not seeing anything from this storm that would indicate, again, from the radar that we have something on the ground. Now I want to take more of a wide view just really quickly so you can see this is the line of storms that we've been watching as they've been moving towards the east. You're having the rotation, the spins that we're kind of having quickly form these tornadoes, and that's what's giving us our tornado warning. So our warning to the north that we've been following for a while, we've trimmed back more of this area again. So now we can see this is just going to be for Sequoyah County, but this is getting closer to Vian. So I'm going to give you an updated look at the velocity right now. This is that area of concern. So where the red and the green are starting to tighten up, we're going to zoom in just slightly here. On this circulation, again, we have two different tornado warnings right now. We're going to try to give both warnings equal amount of time, but this is the area of concern. So the reds and greens where these are starting to kind of touch. This is to the north now of Tamaha. So if you were in Tamaha, this tornado warning is now past you. You can come out of your safe place. However, moving towards Interstate I-40, you are not out of this. This is moving directly to the north in your direction. So if you are traveling on the interstate, you very quickly need to get out of your car, find a sturdy shelter to be in, because this is moving your direction. I want to jump over here to our correlation coefficient and just see, with that area of circulation, still not seeing anything definitive that would indicate that we have a tornado currently on the ground. Still seeing, again, from the National Weather Service Tulsa, nothing has been confirmed at this point with that circulation either. So we're going to zoom out just slightly and see what's to come ahead of this. So Vian, McKee, you can see you're still included in this tornado warning. This is that area of circulation, again, that we're watching very, very closely. Getting closer now to the interstate. So if you were traveling between Vian and Salisaw, you do not need to be on the interstate. And Salisaw all the way to Fort Smith too, because this is our second area of rotation that we have at this point in time. We could also update our banners here at the south for our tornado warnings. We now have Haskell County, Sequoyah County, LaFleur County as well. So two different tornado warnings that we're dealing with. This one is out of Haskell County, but this is one to be that's just in Sequoyah between Vian and Salisaw. So we'll do another check with our correlation coefficient. Still not seeing anything for this storm that would indicate, again, that we have debris being lofted, but we'll zoom out here quickly and we're going to go do another check on this southern storm right now. So we're going to zoom in slightly. This is the second area of rotation. Again, we were watching it. It did get strong enough to prompt another tornado warning. And where the reds and the greens, again, are getting really close to touching, that's that area of circulation. So this is going to be now east of North County Road 450-60. Star, this is just now over you, if not just east of you. And then you can see up ahead towards the north. Brent, this is going to be moving your direction. So if you are in this tornado warning, you need to go ahead and start taking those precautions. So we, again, are going to put a track on this circulation too. Check here quickly with our correlation coefficient to make sure we haven't had anything indicating, which we, again, at this point do not have anything indicating right now that we are having debris being lofted. So this is not a confirmed tornado either by radar, or no one has put eyes on it in person to see this tornado, but we're going to continue to watch this very, very closely. So here's the velocity. This is that area of concern. Again, mainly east of Star now. Star, you still need to make sure you're in your safe place, but this is going to be moving to the northeast. So along 59, close to 141, to Brent, Gans, you're going to need to be making sure that you are in your safe spots. And then eventually this is going to be getting closer to Interstate I-40, moving from Salisaw back towards Fort Smith. So you really don't want to be traveling along the interstate right now from Vian all the way to Fort Smith. Here's another updated look at our velocity. You can see still pretty close. We don't have anything perfectly touching at this point, but it's still very strong rotation, and that is why we've had these tornado warnings. Checking in with our correlation coefficient though, and at this point nothing is indicating again that we have anything being lofted up into the radar. So there is this velocity right now. I'm going to zoom out just slightly to show you that we do have these 2 tornado warnings right now. This tornado warning that's just east of Star is going to be Haskell County, moving into parts of Sequoia County, and could clip parts of LaFleur County as well. And this is our other area of circulation that is just going to be now to the east of Vian. I'm going to send things back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot to kind of give you a more wide view and to see if we have any updates from these storms.
Yeah, we'll zero back in on those circulations, but again, wanted to reassure folks in the metro area, Bartlesville, and even in Muskogee that we have no threat in those areas. We are watching this line of severe thunderstorms right now from just southeast of Muskogee all the way back down into the northeastern corner of Haskell County. 2 tornado warnings are the main concern. One of those is very close to Interstate 40 and Vian. As we take a look at velocity right now, you can see right in here that circulation is going to be moving over I-40 in the next few minutes. Another circulation, you can pick out the bright reds and the bright greens. This is about to move out of extreme northeastern sections of Haskell County. We'll do a track on this storm first, moving to the northeast, and this is going to be very close to Brent, very close to Wild Horse Barbecue, just to the south of Salisaw, very close to the Salisaw Airport, and then moving up close to Gans by about 136, and Hanson, which is just to the northeast of I-40, that will be at about 140. Another track, we'll do an updated track on our circulation just south of Vian as that continues moving to the northeast. That's going to be crossing the Arkansas River, and this is a very close shave for Vian. I'm going to take a look at this with high resolution Doppler radar in just a bit. This rotation may be slightly broader than it was just a few minutes ago. Again, I don't see any evidence that we have any debris being lofted, but I want to take a look at high resolution Doppler radar right now. Right into this part of the storm, we can go to velocities, bright reds here, bright greens here. The center of circulation is just to the southeast of Vian. This is crossing Interstate 40 right now. We check correlation coefficient, and again, right where we have the strongest rotation, we are not seeing any evidence that we have debris being lofted up by this storm. But these are very low hanging clouds too, so it would not take much for a tornado to drop down from that level of circulation. So Interstate 40, Highway 64 between Vian and Dwight Mission Road. The I-40 exit markers, mile marker 297 and 303. Nobody on I-40 or Highway 64 between Vian and Dwight Mission Road. Salisaw, you're okay here. As we talked about, looking to the south of Salisaw and the airport and toward, basically toward Wild Horse Barbecue and south, that rotation is just about now to move out of Haskell County, kind of centered right again over Robert S. Kerr Lake. We take a look at correlation coefficient, and again, let me drop the radar data to show you where that circulation is, because it looks like it is, yeah, it's right over the biggest part of Robert S. Kerr Lake right now. So as that moves to the northeast, that's going to be crossing Highway 59. Again, south of the curves, close to Wild Horse Barbecue, south of Salisaw, all the way down into LaFleur County. Nobody needs to be on Highway 59, including the river bridge over the Arkansas River, where you look back and see the dam. As we go back to reflectivity right now, we'll check in on our Vian circulation. It looks a little bit broader, but again, very close to Vian, maybe just to the southeast of Vian. Let's go back to our circulation moving across Robert S. Kerr Lake. and this is already to the north of Keota and northeast of Star. But as this continues moving to the northeast, it's going to be very close to Brent and very close to Gans in southern parts of Sequoyah County. Again, we're not seeing any evidence that we have debris being lofted up into the radar signal from this circulation either. We'll go back up to our Vian storm, and that circulation is kind of parked right over the interstate right now, right in here. And again, we're not seeing any evidence that we have debris being lofted up into the radar signal from it either. So no damage reported at this point from any of the tornado warned storms that we've seen. And as these continue to move up into parts of Sequoyah County, we'll watch closely because Cherokee and Adair County also in our coverage area. And once these move a little bit deeper into Sequoyah County, we'll see if they can hold on to that rotation and potentially produce, again, more tornado warnings further to the north. But let's check in with Michaela right now. Michaela, still no indication yet that we've had any debris being lofted up into the radar. No spotter reports of tornadoes down with us either.
Yeah, that's great news. You know, we haven't had any confirmation with either these tornado warnings, again, from either the radar or from any spotters like James just said, but we still do have 2 tornado warnings right now for the area. So I'm going to continue to watch this just line of storms that we're dealing with. I want to show you Tulsa is up here. We're actually getting towards the edge of some of even the heavier rain for Tulsa right now. So none of this is going to impact Tulsa County. This is all to the south and east of Tulsa. But along this line of storms, as they've continued to move areas off towards the east, they've moved into an environment that's been a little bit more favorable for these storms to start to spin just a little bit more, and that's what's prompted these tornado warnings over the last hour or so. So 2 different circulations right now, 2 different tornado warnings. Our first tornado warning that we've been following since Haskell County has now completely cleared out of Haskell County and is getting really close to Vian, and then our second area is just about to move out of parts of Haskell County too, also into parts of Sequoyah County. So we're going to start off with this more southern circulation. This is now past Star and it's about to move right over parts of Brent. So along Highway 59, you need to make sure that you are in your safe place. Looks like this is going to pass to the south of Sadie, but again, Brent, you are in the path of this. Tucker, it's going to be just to the north of you, but this is continuing to move off towards the northeast. So eventually Brent, Gans as well, this is moving your direction, and then eventually Interstate I-40. You can also see right here Highway 144 too, so 59, 44, kind of where these T-bone right into Brent. That's the area that we're watching currently right now. Circulation's not quite as tight as it was, but we're still going to check with our correlation coefficient right now. It's a little bit messy, but we're not having any indications again right now from a specific spot that alerts us to the fact that we do have debris that's being lofted back up into the air. So check back with our velocity again. This debris or this circulation not quite as tight as it was. So we'll jump over to our other tornado warning, trying to give both equal time here. You can see this is really close now to Vian. It's just going to be towards the east of you, basically crossing Interstate I-40 right now at 64. So if you were on I-40 or 64, you have got to make sure that you are getting into a safe place, a sturdy shelter. You do not want to be caught in your car with these tornado warnings. This is the area of circulation, again, where we're seeing more of these reds and greens getting closer to touching each other. Now we're watching for the velocity. As you look at the correlation coefficient, again, not seeing anything that would currently indicate to us that we have debris that's being lofted. I'm going to look over to the side here quickly. We have storm reported spotter rotation near junction east of Brent. So that's that first rotation again that I was showing you. That's not this rotation near Vian, but we have 2 areas of circulation that we're watching. So this is this first one. You can see crossing Interstate I-40 and 64 between Vian, and you can see McKee as well. This is going to be continuing to move to the northeast towards Dwight Mission. If this continues to stay together, it's going to move through parts of Sequoyah County and then eventually could moving into parts of Cherokee and Adair County. So these are the 2 different circulations again that we're watching. This is our second one that's just now moving out of Haskell County, moving also into Sequoyah County too. And this one's going to track between Salisaw and Fort Smith. Now, Fort Smith is not in our coverage area, but is not in this tornado warning. However, along Interstate I-40, you don't want to be traveling from basically Vian all the way to Fort Smith because we have 2 different tornado warnings. Now, one goes until 1:30. That's going to be this tornado warning right here. So about 9 more minutes unless we extend this one further to the northeast. And then this tornado warning goes until 1:45. So not seeing as much of a tightening in this lower rotation right now, but we do have, again, a circulation. We have reported spotters that are seeing some of that rotation closer to Brent. So here again is more of that view. We also do have some storms. I just want to point out this is along this, again, main line that we've been watching. That's past Muskogee now, past Fort Gibson, but that's moving towards Holbert, Tahlequah 2, 10 Killer. You're going to see more of these storms soon. So this is not a severe or tornado warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, but this is that same line of storms that we've been watching very closely as they've been moving off towards the east, that we've had some of these circulations from within. So here's a wide view right now. Again, Tulsa, you were in the clear. Areas back even off more towards the west, we've had some flash flood warnings. A lot of those are likely going to start to expire here soon. But all of our concern remains towards the southeast of Tulsa, where we have this line of storms that has severe thunderstorm warnings, and then associated within those severe thunderstorm warnings, we are dealing with those tornado warnings. So going back to our 2 areas of circulation right now, we'll jump here first to our area closer to Vian. That's going to be the area that just crossed parts of Interstate I-40. Still seeing some tightening here with the red and the green. So this is basically now just past Interstate I-40, passed right over the Interstate and 64 too. So this currently looks like it's still going to be to the east of Vian, and it's going to be just to the west of McKee. So kind of moving in between the 2, but you still need to make sure that you are in your safe place. Check with our correlation coefficient. This would be the area of concern right here that, again, just passed along the interstate. Not seeing anything indicating that we have something on the ground doing damage right now, but you still want to take this tornado warning seriously. So we'll zoom out just slightly and show you what's still ahead of this tornado warning. Again, this one is expected to expire at 1:30 if it's not extended further ahead. But you can see it would still have to move through parts of Sequoyah County and then eventually move towards Cherokee and Adair County, which is also our coverage area. So an area that we're going to continue to watch very, very closely. And then we have the southern circulation too. So we'll go quickly back to that southern circulation. You can kind of see this was what passed through Star earlier. We'll take a closer look right now and see these are not as close together, these reds and greens, but still enough, getting closer to, again, Brent, that if you were in Brent, if you were along 59 and where 141 kind of T-bone together, this is the area that you need to be in your safe place right now. So what is a reminder of those? If you're in a school, make sure you're doing those tornado precautions. If you are at your home, lowest level, most interior room that you can be, away from those outside walls or windows, make sure you have something to cover your head, something to cover your neck. And just make sure that if you do have to step away from the TV, if you're streaming with us, you can see the time here in the corner. That's what we are currently seeing for our time. So if you are delayed a little bit because of streaming, we start to give you those timings of when you need to be in your safe place. Make sure that you are doing that. I'm going to zoom out just slightly from the southern circulation so we can put a track on this storm. James, is this one still moving 20 miles per hour?
25.
25? Okay, so we're seeing this circulation moving 25 miles per hour. We can see Brent that puts it basically right over you. We have a new tornado warning. We're going to go jump to that here in just a second. We're going to click clear first so we can finish talking about this track. Hanson, that's going to put it closer to you at 1:41 p.m., Seven Oaks 1:44, Maple 1:53. So this is going to continue again to move towards the northeast. For this southern circulation, we have now extended our tornado warning for the northern circulation that's closer to Vian. So that's also where we're going to jump to really quickly now, and we're going to take a view at that area. So going closer to Vian, this is still that area of circulation that we are watching closely, and that's the area we have a new tornado warning. So zooming out just slightly, you can see, again, this is going to be closer past Vian now, but up ahead, this is going to push through parts of Sequoyah County, eventually moving into parts of Cherokee and Adair County. They are not currently in this warning right now, but if we were to put a track on this storm, new circulation, we're going to say still moving to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. And that's going to put you closer to Dwight Mission at 138, Marble City at 145, Flute Springs at 151. So both of these tornado warnings are still active right now. We have not had any confirmation that these are confirmed tornadoes on the ground, either from our Doppler, because we've seen that correlation coefficient and we've seen debris being lofted, or from any spotters in the area that have been able to confirm that these tornadoes are on the ground. But you still want to be taking your tornado precautions and being very cautious. And this line still extends more to the north again. So that's the storm system we've been watching. It extends from about Hobart now past Fort Gibson. So Fort Gibson, you are clear now of this line of storms, but ahead of it, Tahlequah, 10 Killer, Cookson 2. The severe thunderstorms are going to continue to move your direction, and these are the same storms that we've continued to see these tornado warnings being reported along this leading edge. So go ahead and start to prepare. Make sure that you have time, that if you do get a tornado warning, because we've seen some of these spin up tornadoes, that you are prepared. Here's that circulation again that we're seeing just to the east of Vian. This is now past Interstate 40, past 64. This is still moving to the northeast. So if you were in Dwight Mission, you want to make sure that you are in your safe spot right now, getting ready for this tornado warning to move your direction. Going to jump back over to the correlation coefficient. I'm not thinking that that's right along. James, the correlation coefficient still a little bit behind where that circulation was. Okay, so we can see that's where the circulation did pass a little bit ago, but now we're a little bit further ahead. So still not saying at this point that this has been a confirmed tornado. However, we do have 2 tornado warnings. So one goes until 1:45, the other is until 2 p.m. So we're going to continue to track these storms as they move off toward the northeast. Both are moving at about 20 miles per hour. So if you find yourself in these tornado warnings, you need to start to take your tornado precautions very seriously. Here's both of those circulations again. Our strongest one of the 2, I think, is going to be the one now that's just to the east of Vian. That's again the new tornado warning that we had that goes until 2 p.m. And then we have an area of circulation south of Salisaw right now that's not as strong as it was. It's not quite as tight, but it could at any point in time as this continues to move off towards the east. We've already seen multiple times that these circulations, they start to broaden a little bit and then they tighten back up and we issue these tornado warnings again. So even though at this point in time we're not seeing as strong of a circulation with the southern tornado warning, does not mean you need to be off your guard. So if you're between Salisaw and again out towards Fort Smith, you do not need to be traveling right now along Interstate I-40 and areas more towards the north as we continue to move into Sequoyah County. But our stronger circulation still looks like it's this more northern storm that is now towards the east of Vian. So checking over with the National Weather Service of Tulsa, not seeing any new information. We'll check back in with our correlation coefficient again here with this storm that's east of Vian, and at this point still not seeing anything that would be a significant indicator that this tornado would be on the ground. But I do want to show you really quick the reflectivity that both of these areas of circulation are surrounded by rain. So you would not be able to go out. I know a lot of people, this is Oklahoma, you're like, oh, there's a tornado warning, I want to go out, I want to see it. You are not going to see these tornadoes again. They are wrapped in rain. There's rain behind these storms, there's a rain ahead of these storms. So both of these areas that we are watching for very closely would be rain-wrapped tornadoes. So this is going to be one of those situations. You trust the meteorologists, you see those tornado warnings, and you start to shelter and get to that safe place that you need to be, whether that's at home, whether that's at the office. Again, if you're a principal, someone watching this, your time to get those kids into their safe spot at school until myself or James gives you the all clear. So here is a look currently at the reflectivity. Doesn't look as organized, but then you can still see we have 2 areas of circulation. One is to the east of Vian. The other one now is going to be to the north of Star, closer to Brent. But even then, that circulation is kind of getting a little bit wider. And we'll see here shortly, we did have another severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued. We'll jump really quickly to that and see. This has been extended now, so through Tahlequah, up towards Little Kansas, Stillwell just to the west of you, but we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that's along this main line of storms that's continued to produce some of these tornado warnings. I'm going to send things back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot to see if he's had any updates in the last few minutes or so.
Yeah, I think you're right on. Both these circulations are still dangerous, still could produce tornadoes, but they are both a little weaker. And again, there is no threat at all in Tulsa. In fact, we can draw that line down U.S. Highway 69 from Veneta to Pryor to Muskogee to McAllister, and that threat area is east of that line, where we do have that tornado watch and 2 tornado warnings in effect, at least in parts of Haskell and Sequoyah County. And as this continues to move through Sequoyah County, we're watching closely for southern Adair and southeastern Cherokee County too, as the current trajectory here could take these if they can maintain that level of spin and threat very close to West Peavine and Stillwell and Greasy too. Now we look into the Salisaw area and parts of Sequoyah County, and we'll watch these closely because once we move that threat out of Salisaw, it's not our coverage area again until we get up into Adair County too. So let's take a look at velocity. And again, we still have circulation to the northeast of Vian that is still fairly stout. Let me zoom into that even more. And where we've got those brighter reds and we have the brighter greens here. Here's Dwight Mission, and Dwight Mission Road kind of curves back out here through McKee. But that circulation is going to be pretty close to the Dwight Mission and eventually up toward Marble City. Again, we'll look at correlation coefficient. And while we do have a dropout right here, we click back to velocity and you can see it's not where the velocity circulation is. It has to be there for us to know that that is debris being lofted up into the radar signal. But in reflectivity, we still have a lot of heavy rain here all around that circulation. Let's expand the view a bit. We're going to go back to the south and check our storm as it moves to the southeast of Salisaw right now. And that's good news. This thing, circulation is passing to the southeast of Salisaw. It's gotten broader too. You see a big arc of inflow wind into this storm, but we're not seeing the really tight circulation that we did just a few minutes ago. Check base velocity. A lot of times that'll help fine tune some of this. Again, it looks like if we had any circulation left with this, any threat, that's going to be close to or just to the west of Gans right now. Again, we look at correlation coefficient, and I'm not seeing anything co-located. We have a little bit of a drop out there southwest of Gans, but that's also in some really weak reflectivity, so that is not a debris dropout. We have a lot of rain in Salisaw too. Further to the south in LaFleur County, all of these storms have cleared out of Haskell and Latimer County, so we can give you the all clear here. The main threat in our coverage area will be in parts of Cherokee County and Adair County too. I'm going to jump back over to velocity because we have seen occasionally a little bit of circulation start along the leading edge of this band of showers. This is located just up to the northwest of Cookson, passing south of Tahlequah. If this would strengthen, we would start being worried about it becoming a little bit more of a threat to produce a tornado. But as we look at all the watches and warnings in effect right now, we still officially have a tornado watch in effect along the Oklahoma-Arkansas state line. But Muskogee and Haskell County still officially in the tornado watch. The threat area is over for these two counties, but the National Weather Service will cancel that. They've got more important things to deal with, mainly the tornado warning in parts of Sequoyah County. Let's go back to reflectivity. And I'll go right back into Sequoyah County. And as that circulation close to Gans gets up closer to I-40, it's not as strong as the circulation to the northwest of Salisaw. Take a little closer look in here at both these tornado warned storms. Again, they're a lot broader than they were just a few minutes ago. These have ebbed and flowed though over the last hour. A couple of times they have gotten a little bit weaker and then started to strengthen again. We saw that evolution take place in northern parts of Haskell County. So we are not going to let our guard down. But again, no evidence right now that we have a tornado down or imminent with either of these, but the tornado warnings continue. Again, these things can spin up pretty quickly and cause that issue as well. So we're going to continue to watch this. Again, the one moving close to Dwight Mission does look a little bit weaker. That's this one, look how much broader and farther apart the greens and reds are here. So again, that is much weaker than it has been, and that's great news, especially as it gets closer to, in fact, you just saw that red box drop off. The National Weather Service has canceled that tornado warning. Let me give you an update because we'll go back to programming here very soon. A quick update on what's happening in southeastern Sequoyah County, because this one eventually, as it crosses Interstate 40 has a chance to get up and clip the southeastern corner of Adair County, but that's still a long way away and not an immediate threat to any part of our Fox 23 coverage area. So the tornado warning for Dwight Mission area, northwestern Sequoia County, has been canceled early. So for now, we will go back to programming as we continue to watch this circulation southeast of Salisaw as that moves to the northeast, most likely across the state line into Crawford County in Arkansas. But if there is any threat at all to the Fox 23 coverage area, we will be back on instantly. Until now, back to programming.